everything is in harmony. It's in harmony with nature. It's in harmony with the communities and the neighborhoods. It's in harmony with the neighbors, who are very, very pleased and happy to be here.
The neighborhoods of World Golf Village is a community developed in harmony. Rick Periani, Vice President of Design and Development for World Golf Village, planned the community to link golf, nature, and history.
With the attention to everything that we did, the conscious consideration of everything that we were going to lay out on the land, how we were going to connect it, how we were going to build it, how we were going to animate it and landscape it and punctuate it and light it, how we were going to sign it. All of those elements are really, truly in harmony.
Set in historic St. Augustine, World Golf Village is home to the World Golf Hall of Fame. Periani says the sport played an integral role in the design of the neighborhoods of World Golf Village.
We looked contextually at where we sit just outside of our nation's first city, St. Augustine. It just so happens that St. Augustine, in terms of its original town plan, is contemporaneous with the launch of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club in St. Andrews in the mid-1500s, I believe. Well, contextually, the architecture of St. Andrews and the British Isles and the home of golf is very similar to the European architecture used in the early town planning and construction of St. Augustine, and we drew references from both.
At the neighborhoods of World Golf Village, Irish boundary fences, old rural rusticated stonework, stone columns, a stone watchtower, and a stone windmill tie the roots of golf to the community's proximity to St. Augustine. Throughout the neighborhood, a sense of openness prevails.
What's distinct, whether you're a visitor or whether you're a resident or whether you happen to work here at World Golf Village, and as you move around the community, whether by car, whether by foot, bicycle, or golf cart, you're struck with the sense of openness and the amount of vistas and panoramic views that you get over the landscape, over the lakes, over the Gulf, and always backdropped and framed by the preservation lands that surround the communities.
Of the 6,300 acres that make up World Golf Village, 44% were preserved.
Of those over 2,700 acres, there's about 800 of those acres that are actually viable, developable uplands that we set aside for the benefit of the environment, for the benefit of wildlife habitat and water resource conservation purposes. The other thing that distinguishes the preservation of World Golf Village is that they're not bits and pieces. Just like the community is woven together, the preservation lands are all woven together into continuous connected green belts, which also benefit wildlife movement and serve as wildlife corridors.
Periani says residents of the neighborhoods of World Golf Village never lose connection with nature and the environment that is native to the area.
We started out with a very simple native plant palette, and then we chose to take that same plant palette and use it in the built environment and in the common areas and the streetscape, the golf landscape and the residential landscape, to weave it together so that when you do spend time at World Golf Village, you get a sense of the environment, you get a sense of the stewardship that we used in terms of how we approach construction, and you certainly get an appreciation of what was preserved.
Periani says the design utilized hand curbing to protect trees.
We encountered oftentimes road layouts that were proximate to significant trees that we intended to preserve. And when those road beds were being prepared, they were cut below grade, and oftentimes, particularly during the summers, if it exposed feeder roots for those trees went into immediate stress. What we did is we protected against that, and we used large, tall curbs, 18 to 24 inches in some cases, where we formed those to resolve the grade differences between the road bed and the feeder root.
At World Golf Village's 2 golf courses, side-by-side fairways provide expansive golf views.
The King and the Bear, for instance, has paired fairways, double fairways. The golf corridor, in some cases, is over 1,000 feet wide, and we only have 136 homes on the King and Bear 18-hole golf course. On the Slammer and the Squire golf course, we went even beyond just double pairing the fairways. We have a significant core area that is similar to the traditional ways of designing golf courses and golf clubs, where it was all about the golf and people lived across the street from the golf. Well, at the Slammer and the Squire, the majority of the 18 holes are in a consolidated core area that balances the golf environment with the living environment.
Periani says he takes pride in his design of the neighborhoods of World Golf Village and knows visitors can leave the community having experienced excellence.
What I'd like you to have is a sense of quality, that everything that you saw, everything that you experienced, everything that you enjoyed, everything that you participated in was done at the highest level of quality. Whether that's a service, whether that's something that was built, whether that's a home, whether that's a street, whether it's the landscape, whether it's the night lighting, you just left thinking, wow, that World Golf Village is really a very high quality